After is a book written by Francis Chalifort about a 15-year-old boy, Francis, living in Montreal, whose father has committed suicide. While he was away on a school trip, Francis's father hanged himself in the attic of their home. The book is about Francis's struggle to come to understand his father's death and why he did it. In the end, Francis discovers that he will never know, and he has to let go of the past. The major theme of this novel is that no matter how bad things seem, there are always people there to help us get through the difficult times in our lives. We need to push through and be tough, using the positive things in life to motivate us and help us through. On page 74, the narrator says, "The highlight of my week was talking to Jewel after group. We'd take our plate of cookies and our cans of pop, and perch on the edge of the dusty stage that ran across one end of the basement. We talked about her mother and my father. Jewel is a girl from the support group for kids who have lost a parent. She, for a while, helps Francis understand his father's death by being able to relate to his situation." Albert Schweitzer once said, "Sometimes our light goes out but is blown into flame by another human being. Each of us owes deepest thanks to those who have rekindled this light." This is exactly what Jewel has done, rekindled Francis's light by sharing some of her insight into the grief that so tightly grips him. She supports him just as a pillar supports the bridge section above. Near the end of the book, on his way to Toronto, Francis ends up sitting beside an elderly lady on the bus. At one point, she finally says to him, "Let me tell you something. My husband did the same thing. He committed suicide too." Funny, isn't it, how one person being gone can make the whole world seem so empty. This shows us that sometimes the people who we barely know and who we'd least expect to support us can be among the most helpful and insightful of all. An extremely famous woman, who has more experience relating to the following statement as originated by her than almost anyone who has ever lived, is Helen Keller. Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved. Francis begins the book as a normal teenage boy, who probably is just relaxing and cruising along in life. Over the course of the novel, throughout all his challenges and grief, he becomes a man, with a character so powerful he is able to grow up and take care of his family. The author finishes the novel with Francis talking about his little brother, in one of the most truthful and powerful statements I have ever heard. "I wanted to show Luke how to play his cards well, to tell him that cheating is never worth it, that life is beautiful, and royal straight flushes are rare but exist for real, that life's a game and enjoying it is okay. Laughing is just as important as being serious. Card games never last very long anyway. Nothing lasts forever either." As we power through the tough times in life, with our friends and family and perhaps complete strangers like the woman on the bus at our side, we must remember one thing: enjoy the positive things in life, no matter how scarce, and allow those good times past and those to come to aid us through the tough times between. This is true of all people who survive cancer. They have to be tough in order to get through difficult times, but their friends and family are there to help. In the words of Winston Churchill, if you're going through hell, keep going. There is an end somewhere, and the longer we are clouded by sorrow and grief, the more difficult the end becomes to see. We must stay positive no matter what it takes. Everything will work out in the end. Ultimately, it will come down to what we want to happen and what we are willing to do to make it so. We should always remember the words of Henry Ford, the American founder of the Ford Motor Company. "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right."